Good morning and welcome to day 46 on trail. I am just enjoying my breakfast and coffee in the tent because, as you can hear, it is raining this morning. It wasn't supposed to start until 6 p.m., but I've learned to pack up the tent last because you just never know when a random mountain rainstorm will blow in. Today we've got about 16 miles to get us to a dispersed site just outside of Damascus so that I can head into town for a Nero tomorrow and then spend tomorrow night in town. Pretty excited for today. We're crossing over into Virginia, so that is a huge milestone. And then otherwise, the day is looking fairly flat, not too much elevation. I think it's about 2,000 or 2,500 feet of gain over the entire day, so shouldn't be too bad. Should be pretty easy walking, but we'll obviously see when we get there. Looking forward to it, and it's almost time for us to hit the trail. And we're off. It's just a light drizzle right now, so nothing too bad. It is a bit chilly now, though. I have packed way too much food to get me into Damascus, but that's all right. I mean, I went to the grocery store hungry, which one, you should just never do. And two, means I have too many snacks, but also you've got to buy things in bulk at the grocery store. And a lot of times I'll leave extras in a hiker box, but this time I was like, let me just carry them. That way I don't have to buy the same thing in bulk again when I get to Damascus, and that'll save me some money. But also, yesterday I thought I needed food for breakfast and dinner, and then we ended up eating out, and Boots Off fed us breakfast, which I kind of knew, but I just didn't know what the options would be like, so I had something for that just in case. Basically, I could probably go another day or two past Damascus with the amount of food that I have, but it's no worries because I'm not attempting the Damascus Marathon or anything. If you're not familiar with that, it is a trail tradition held by some. There's a shelter 26.2 miles before Damascus, and a lot of people will try to do that leg in one day. And that doesn't particularly interest me. One, because I would have to take a 0 day in Damascus if I did that, possibly a double 0. And so then it would just average out to like I did 2 13-mile days. For what? Just to say that I did it? It's not for me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a good marathon and a hard day, but remember, these videos are a little bit delayed. I'm trying to get in as many miles as I can before trail days, which means I've got basically a week, a little over a week, until I head down to trail days in Damascus. And I want to try to get, at least 50 to 100 miles past Damascus so that I can rent a car from Roanoke or somewhere. Oop. Oh, tree action. I tried to take my rain cover thing from my pack. But yeah, I want to try to get as far as I can, and trying to do the Damascus Marathon and then zeroing in Damascus just doesn't make sense for that. But yeah, we're cruising right along, and our next water source is in about 3.5 miles from here. You saw earlier I made coffee in camp, and to get water closest to camp, I would have had to backtrack about 0.3 and then go down a side trail. So all in all, that would have been kind of an extra mile for my day. And I've got a ½ liter left, so I'm not too worried about it. I figured I would just walk the 3.5 to the next water source, especially on a morning like today. Can't see it so well on camera, but the mountains over there shrouded by the clouds looks magical. You know, it's interesting. The more time that I spend on trail, the more content I seem to be with the present moment, and not necessarily that I worried about the future, the days to come in the past, but I like to plan, which I guess in a way is a sense of control and could be classified as worry, I guess. But I like to plan, you know, I'm a planner, I'm very type A, I like to have a spreadsheet. And one of the things I really wanted to work on with this trip, with this hike, was not doing that so much. Paused to chat with some day hikers. They asked me my name first instead of just asking me when I started. That was nice. And they actually wanted to chit chat a bit. But anywho, I really wanted to not be such a planner on this hike. And obviously you've got to plan a little more. When I first started, I've noticed a difference. I was in a bubble, so I had to think about the future quite a bit. But now that it's thinning out, so to speak, you know, for better or for worse, I can kind of fly by the seat of my pants a little bit more and plan a day or two when I get outside of a town, which is really nice, and it's refreshing for me. There's still a little bit of me that wants to book something the week before, but then all that does is make me more stressed and knowing I've got to get somewhere by a certain time. So there's really no sense in doing that, and I'm just embracing the spontaneity and the lack of planning, I guess. I don't know. The ability to be present in the moment. And I do want to clarify, there is quite a bit of planning that has to go into your thoughts when you get to a town. You know, you've got to look at your resupply, you've got to be smart, and you've got to just kind of know where you're heading. But for me, that would have probably looked like planning out the next month, whereas now I can just plan out town to town and feel good about it. Snack time. We're walking through these grassy areas, so my socks and shoes are getting a bit damp. Here's another land survey. I'm gonna stop at the shelter right up here. It's kind of hard to see through the fog, but it's over to my right. And take a little snack break. 10 out of 10 would recommend listening to Bon Iver or Gabrielle and Isaacoff when the forest looks like this. It just matches the mood. I love after it's been raining and the sun comes out and hits the water droplets on the leaves. I spy a patch of blue sky. That means the fog is burning off, and I might need to stop in a little bit and dry out my tent some. Pausing for a quick gear dry out / snack break now that the sun's out for a few minutes. Hello, little butterfly. Oh, is this what I think it is? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, here we are. We walked to Virginia. We're gonna be in Virginia for a hot second, but it feels good to know we've walked Georgia to here. It's like 468 miles. Making progress. All right, all those people who kept telling me Virginia is flat. So far, so good. Made it here to where we're tenting for the night. Lots of places to set up. I'm gonna go ahead and get my tent set up so it can finish drying, and then I'm gonna head down there and get water. Just came down here to the water source. You can see it right behind me, but I'm gonna end the vlog here. We finished the day at 16.3 Appalachian Trail miles. Got my tent all set up, and hopefully it dries out a little bit before the storms again tonight to make it soaked. But tomorrow we're nearoing into Damascus, and the site we're staying at is about 1.5 miles from downtown. So the plan is to go in the morning and then grab breakfast at the diner. And then I'm gonna head over to the library and edit some videos and just chill until I can check into my accommodation for tomorrow night and take a shower and do laundry and all my town chores. I need to figure out kind of what my resupply needs to look like to get into Marion, where exactly I want to go in at, and how many days that's going to take me. But otherwise, it should be a thunderstormy night here, I guess. I don't know. That's what's in the forecast. So we were pretty careful to pick out where our tents went just to make sure there was no widowmakers around us, because it is supposed to be storming and windy and all of that. So just want to be extra careful, but super excited for town food tomorrow and to head into Damascus, Trail Town, USA. Oh my gosh, y'all, I almost forgot to say it, but I'll see you in the morning for another great day of hiking.